Good afternoon and welcome everyone. We're very excited to be here and we're so happy that you've all chosen to join us for this session today. I'm Sam Lee. I'm the PM lead for Windows Admin Center, and today I have the privilege of introducing my colleagues who are here with me. Haley Rowland, a PM on the team, and Matt Wilson, one of our software engineering leads. We've got a ton of stuff to show you, so we'd ask that you please hold questions until the end. And with that, I'll hand it over to Haley to start us off.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. So last year at Ignite, we introduced you to Project Honolulu. And this was our first step towards reimagining what the Windows Server management experience could be. And I'm so excited today to talk to you about the evolution of this into what we know today as Windows Admin Center. So we're going to kick things off with a customer story that was put together by our friends at DataOn. Thank you very much. And this really helps highlight Windows Admin Center and the value that some customers that are using it today in their production environments see from it.
Cherokee County School District is about 30 minutes north of Atlanta. We have a little over 40 schools and centers, and we have about a little over 40,000 students. Windows Admin Center has made things awesome because it really does allow us to be more efficient. I've been able to essentially consolidate a lot of different tasks that I would do through various tools into one console, like remote desktop, PowerShell, Windows services, the event viewer, failover cluster manager, all these different functions that you'd have to typically use 4 or 5 different tools to do or more, essentially. They're starting to roll those into Windows Admin Center. And I really do enjoy the fact that it's browser-based. You don't have a clunky interface to deal with that can crash consistently. So being in web-based also makes it a lot easier to use too. When I would use it on my laptop, I would use it to maybe restart a server or remote desktop into a server, run a PowerShell command against the server, maybe restart it even a Windows service. Through my phone, it's more of a, I want to get a snapshot of where we're at. I can easily, just pull up my phone, take a look at the dashboard for our hyperconverged cluster and just to see what the performance is. Every day we really do use Data on Must. We have it always on in our NOC, so we can get a nice snapshot of the health of our environment. It's been a great management solution for our virtual or hyperconverged infrastructure. Must provides some disk mapping that's not in there natively, some historical reporting, and also the call home service is very handy as well. It's nice to be able to just go to have a single pane of glass essentially to manage multiple servers and actually get work done. That's the good thing. It allows you to get work done a lot faster. I really like the fact that Windows Admin Center allows for you to use extensions like Must because we really do love what Must has provided to us, and it's nice to know that will continue to be integrated in Windows Admin Center. You need to have something like that because it's great to have performant hardware. It's great to feel good about all that, but if you can't manage it easily, if you're having to essentially use multiple tools to manage the environment, that doesn't really work well for an IT team that's understaffed essentially. So you really want to have a good management interface and alerting interface, and that's exactly what Windows Admin Center must provide for us.
So that was a really great example of how, through the extensible nature of Windows Admin Center, Microsoft and our technology partners can deliver even more value to all of our customers, no matter where they are. So we're going to discuss extensibility a little bit later in the presentation, but you can see the value that the Cherokee County School District got out of having Windows Admin Center installed with our browser-based remote management tools all put together in a single pane of glass with all of the features that they need right in one place. Right now, Sam's going to go ahead and show us where Windows Admin Center fits in the Microsoft ecosystem of management tools.
Thanks, Matt. Whether your Windows Server deployments are small, large, in the cloud, or hybrid, Windows Admin Center can manage your Windows Server instances anywhere you need it. As a reimagining of core tools which have previously shipped in box, Windows Admin Center is licensed as part of Windows Server or Windows 10 at no additional cost. I'm going to repeat that. No additional cost beyond your Windows license. It's a great alternative to using remote desktop for ad hoc management through a modern browser-based experience. From Hyper-V and clustering to hyper-converged and many new Windows Server platform features, Windows Admin Center provides rich functionality, and it complements RSAT's familiar management tools for many specific server roles. RSAT is Remote Server Administration Tools, and you will still need it to manage other roles like Active Directory, DHCP, DNS, IIS, and others. So it is complementary to RSAT, and it does not currently replace RSAT. Whether you're already in the cloud and using Azure services, or you're considering hybrid and investigating how hybrid can help you with your on-prem deployments, Windows Admin Center can help bridge you to hybrid. Through optional Azure integration and easy setup of high-value services, Windows Admin Center provides you easy setup and high-value services and complements the on-prem environment and deployments you already have. Finally, this is a question we get often: what about System Center? Windows Admin Center complements System Center's data center scale, okay, by providing deep single server and single cluster drill down. Windows Admin Center can complement various tools and processes you already have in place. As you can see, there are various solutions and products that Microsoft offers already today that you may already use, and Windows Admin Center fits nicely in the picture. And to walk us through the full value of what Windows Admin Center provides, I'll hand it over to Haley.
Thanks, Sam. So when talking about Windows Admin Center, it's first and foremost a platform that's secure, cloud-ready, and extensible. And on top of that, we're giving you a modern, integrated, and simplified user experience. And then Windows Admin Center really provides value in 5 areas. The first being your core tools, that main functionality that you're maybe familiar with. Next is hyper-converged infrastructure management, security, hybrid, and of course the partner ecosystem that we see as being an extensible platform. So let's first dive into the user experience. And to do this, it's useful to step back and look at where did we come from with server management experience? What did it look like when you were managing 2016 and before? So you're probably very familiar with this. You have a plethora of different tools, whether it's registry editor, task manager, etc., server manager. So you have a lot of different windows, a lot of different tools and interfaces that you need to use. And if you're managing server core, you're not getting much of a graphical user interface at all. This is great for keeping the OS really lightweight, not so great if scripting is not really your jam. So Windows Admin Center provides a really great, modernized, simplified, and integrated experience that can target all of your server connections, whether they're server core or full server. So let's go into what I mean by all of these terms. Modernized. Windows Admin Center is beautifully designed and browser-based. And I want to show off a couple of the new features that we've enhanced even more the user experience of Windows Admin Center. We continue to make our dashboards even better, automatically reflowing so that you get the best viewing experience at any browser size. Right now, this reflow is just for hyperconverged infrastructure dashboard, but we'll be adding it to the rest of the product soon. And then notifications are really important for you to be able to monitor the health of your servers. And so we make it really easy to drill down and see which notifications need your attention right away, which notifications are for long-running processes, and which ones are just informational, so that you really can see what needs your attention in the current moment. Next, if you have a long list of servers, you need an easy way to group those servers. And what we've added here for you is tagging. And this allows you to flexibly group your servers based on groups that will make sense for your environment, whether that be the roles that they're running, the location that they're in, etc. And then using our filtering feature, it's really easy to drill down and see just a list of those servers that you want to see. So I can click on this filter icon up in the top and then select, for example, I want to see my production servers in the West US. I click Save, and then I can see just those server connections really flexibly. Simplified. So this is something that a lot of our customers see really great value in Windows Admin Center. It's reducing the time that it takes them to do their management experience or their management tasks. And it's also reducing errors because we've taken a lot of the really complex tasks and really streamlined them for your main use cases. And finally, integrated. And what I mean by this is simply that you get all of your servers and cluster connections, all of the tools that you need and love in one place. And that is the beauty of Windows Admin Center. If you want to see how Windows Admin Center is great for managing server core, definitely check out Neil and Jeff's session. I believe that's tomorrow, so you won't want to miss it.
Thanks, Haley. Modern, simplified, integrated. The graphical user experience provided by Windows Admin Center really shows our commitment to investing in and delivering ease of use to all Windows Server admins. And it complements the command line and scripting capabilities of PowerShell. Users can choose, based on their preference, whichever is faster for the administrative task at hand. Based on customer feedback, we know that most users want both. PowerShell is great for at-scale automation and repetitive processes, but something like Windows Admin Center is great for its ease of use and rich visualizations. Haley?
Cool. Let's dive now into the platform. How can you deploy Windows Admin Center in your environment? So Windows Admin Center consists of two main components that are packaged together in a single lightweight installer. You install it in literally just minutes. And you'll manage your target nodes over PowerShell and WMI over WinRM, which means there's no agent required to be installed on the nodes that you wish to manage. You'll connect over from a modern browser over secure HTTPS connection. And you'll notice here that nothing I've described thus far has an internet dependency. It's all can be deployed on premises. However, if I do want to publish my web server to DNS and open the firewall, I can get access from anywhere to manage my servers. So Windows Admin Center can be installed on Windows Server Semi-Annual Channel 2019 and 2016, as well as Windows 10. And you can manage servers all the way back to Windows Server 2012. And then we have a limited subset of functionality for 2008 R2, as this was a top user request. And because of the multiple ways that you can install Windows Admin Center, this gives you a lot of flexibility in how you can deploy. So you have your kind of canonical three-tier architecture where you have a dedicated gateway server. And throughout the presentation, if I say the Windows Admin Center gateway, I'm simply referring to the place where Windows Admin Center is installed. And so this allows multiple users to connect to the gateway server and then manage other servers from it. If I want kind of lightweight ad hoc management, I can install directly on my Windows 10 desktop and connect to my servers that I want to manage. I can install on a managed node for the purposes of managing itself or a cluster that it's a part of. And I can even install Windows Admin Center as a service on top of a cluster for high availability of Windows Admin Center. And as Sam mentioned, because Windows Admin Center comes at no additional cost to Windows licensing, it's really easy to deploy across multiple environments and then manage centrally from a single browser console. So this is really great if you have a remote branch office or you're a managed service provider and you have multiple customer environments that you need to manage centrally. And you can really manage these environments from anywhere, whether they're on premises, they're hybrid, or they're in the cloud only. Wherever your Windows Server's instances are, you can manage them using Windows Admin Center.
Thanks, Haley. The beauty of Windows Admin Center as a modern browser-based platform is anywhere access. By that, we mean two things. First, Windows Admin Center can manage your Windows Server instances wherever they may be, physical or virtual, on any hypervisor, in any cloud. But secondly, Windows Admin Center can be used from anywhere, wherever you may be, like maybe on a beach in Honolulu. Cloud ready on your terms, you decide how you want to deploy it and leverage it for your needs. Customers asked for a modern web-based experience, but with full ownership of deployment and no internet dependency. That's to satisfy air gap scenarios and compliance requirements. And that is what we've delivered. Haley?
All right, let's dive right now into the core functionality of Windows Admin Center, starting with those core tools. So we have a lot of different tools that allow you to troubleshoot, configure, and maintain your servers, clusters, and hyperconverged clusters. And the functionality that we've built here has really been driven by user feedback. And so we're really grateful to our technical preview Project Honolulu users that gave us a lot of their input. And we actually delivered on 8 of the top 10 user-requested features. So I'm going to dive into some of those top user requests that we've added to Windows Admin Center. First is apps and features. So I can easily see the installed applications that are on my server, and I can even uninstall them right from Windows Admin Center. Next, scheduled tasks. So this is kind of everything that you previously saw in Task Scheduler. I can even go in and see all the general settings. I can modify triggers and actions, the conditions and settings of my tasks. And then virtual machines. So wherever the Hyper-V tool is installed, whether that's on a standalone server, in a cluster, or a hyper-converged cluster, I'll see the virtual machines tool. And so if I connect using to a cluster, I'll be able to see which server the virtual machines are running on. I can sort by CPU usage or memory demand so that I can easily see the resources my VMs are using. I can do simple tasks like starting and stopping VMs. I can even multi-select multiple VMs and then perform tasks or operations against multiple VMs. And finally, we have a bunch more actions that I can perform, including settings, which I can manage those settings even for VMs that may be running. And adding a new VHD is really, really simple. I just click Add Disk, and I go ahead and save those new disk settings, and Windows Admin Center automatically goes and takes care of that for me, really simply. So let's say that I've just created a new VM, and I don't even have the OS installed just yet. What I need is VM Connect, and we've actually built that right into Windows Admin Center. I just go to the More, Connect, enter my Hyper-V host credentials, and then I'm in. I can see pre-OS install VM. Now, because Windows Admin Center is running PowerShell under the hood, something that our users have really asked for is give us visibility into that PowerShell. And now you can do that with our Show PowerShell Script feature. I just go up here, and I can see a list of all the PowerShell scripts that we're running under the hood. And you can even select one, say Start Virtual Machine, and I can copy and paste this directly into my own automation scripting. Another top request was for file share management, so we've added that both into the files and storage tools, allowing you to modify permissions for folders or create or manage properties and permissions for shares. And finally, for anything that you can't do in Windows Admin Center, you have Remote Desktop and PowerShell built right in, so you really don't have to leave Windows Admin Center. Now, hopefully you didn't miss these sessions. There was a lot of great content, and Windows Admin Center was highlighted throughout both of these sessions. But if you did miss them, definitely check them out online. So some of those new features that you might have heard about, Storage Migration Service, Storage Replica, or System Insights, those have management experience exclusively in Windows Admin Center. So Storage Migration Service is a new Windows Server Platform feature that allows you to retire your old file servers by migrating them to newer operating systems. And Windows Admin Center provides a really easy, intuitive, step-by-step interface to help guide you through that process and give you transparency along the way. Ned and Arpita will be doing a deep dive on this feature, so definitely check that out on Friday morning. And then storage replica. So this isn't new in 2019, but we have added a great user experience for it in Windows Admin Center, which allows you to visualize the partnerships between two storage replica nodes and visualize the data flow between the replication of those nodes. And finally, System Insights. This is a great new Windows Server platform feature that brings predictive analytics natively to Windows Server. And it comes with 4 built-in monitoring capabilities and forecasts the usage of these resources to help you proactively manage your servers before a problem arises. And Garrett will be doing a deep dive on System Insights tomorrow as well, so definitely check that out. So now I'll pass it over to Sam to talk about one more tool that we've only just added.
Thanks, Haley. So Matt will walk us through the extensions experience later, but the containers tool is the latest addition to our extension feed. You may have seen Taylor demo this on Monday, but I want to cover this more from the IT admin or ops perspective. Whether you're new to containers or you think of containers as a black box that the devs manage, the containers tool in Windows Admin Center gives admins and ops folks greater visibility into existing Windows Server container deployments. This is not intended to perform full container lifecycle management or orchestration. In fact, we detect and let you launch out to the orchestrator's management experience. In this case, the Kubernetes link will launch the Kubernetes web UI. Rather, think of this like a process list, where each running container is a process in Docker that you can stop and see performance and resource utilization, all the details of the container, Docker logs for the container, even perform actions or get data from inside the container that's running a server core container using PowerShell. And performing troubleshooting and diagnostics of your lift and shift applications by peeking inside the server core container's event logs. Addressing a commonly cited customer pain point around container diagnosability. In addition, see the list of container images on the host, including all the details and how much disk space each container image takes up on the local drive, with the option to delete it right from here. Now, if that piques your interest, check out the recordings from these sessions to find out all about how Windows Server containers can benefit you. As you saw in this section, Windows Admin Center's core tools provide a familiar set of many commonly used admin tools for ad hoc drill-down troubleshooting, configuration, and maintenance tasks. In addition, you saw examples of new Windows Server platform features, which rely exclusively on Windows Admin Center for graphical management. And finally, you saw how we're enabling greater visibility and ease of use for technologies like Windows Server containers using concepts and patterns already familiar to server admins. We'll continue to add more capabilities based on user feedback, but the value of Windows Admin Center extends beyond core tools. Haley?
Thanks, Sam. Next, let's move on to hyperconverged infrastructure management. So hyperconverged is definitely really hot in the industry right now, and with good reason. It's giving customers lower cost, better efficiency, and flexibility for moving away from their specialized hardware to a software-defined stack for storage, compute, and networking. And Windows Admin Center provides a really powerful and easy-to-use interface for managing hyperconverged clusters. So we're not going to go into hyperconverged in our session, but there is a lot of good data in sessions about this at Ignite. So if you missed Cosmos and Daniel's session earlier today, definitely catch that for the compute section. And then storage and software-defined networking will be later tomorrow. Sam?
Thanks, Haley. As you saw in the customer story earlier, Data On is one of our many WSSD partners. WSSD stands for Windows Server Software Defined. And that provides customers with pre-validated hardware solutions running Microsoft's HCI stack. Through industry standard hardware and the magic of Microsoft's software-defined technologies, customers benefit from lower cost than ever before. With awesome performance potential, like you probably saw in Cosmos's demo, 13 million IOPS is insane. Finally, through Windows Admin Center, we deliver ease of use through a purpose-built graphical solution specifically optimized to manage and monitor Windows Server hyper-converged infrastructure. In fact, we launched Microsoft's HCI solution in Windows Server 2016, but the management plane was PowerShell only, or System Center for some graphical use cases. And the customer feedback was loud and clear. We hit the mark on performance and low cost, but the ease of use was just a gap. And so that is why in Windows Admin Center, we've delivered a truly easy-to-use, purpose-built, and integrated experience to manage all of the Microsoft components in the Microsoft software-defined stack. Also, check out the HCI showcase in the Expo Hall to really see the value of WSSD in action with our partner solutions.
All right, let's dive now into security. Of course, this was a major investment for Windows Server 2019 and tends to be at the forefront of a lot of customers' minds. So I want to walk through some of the security features of Windows Admin Center and how it helps improve the security of your management environment. So Windows Admin Center provides protection at 2 layers. The first is securing access to the Windows Admin Center gateway. Of course, in the architecture, we talked about a secure HTTPS connection from the browser to the gateway. But you can actually secure who's able to access the gateway using Active Directory and local groups, and also enable multi-factor authentication by leveraging Azure Active Directory. So with the Active Directory and local groups, you can really easily add a user or a group and then define a role, either gateway users or administrators. In this case, administrators just means those are people who have permissions to change who has access to the Windows Admin Center gateway. And then I'm going to ask Matt to come up here and help me demo multi-factor authentication with Azure Active Directory. So first, I'm going to go ahead and set that up on my gateway. So from the Access tab of Settings, I will go in here and I see this Azure Active Directory toggle switch. I go ahead and turn that on. And then this notification tells me that I need to refresh the page, so I'll go ahead and do that. And what I see updated here is this hyperlink here. It tells me that I need to go to the Azure portal to manage my users. So this is an example of an intelligent hyperlink that'll bring me right into the Azure portal. And so this is taking me to the Azure Active Directory application that's registered to this Windows Admin Center gateway. And here is where I can manage the users when I've turned on Azure Active Directory authentication. So I'll go to Users and Groups. I'll add a user. And then I'll go select Matt from this list. Go click Save. And then I get to select a role for him, and you'll see again the gateway administrator and gateway user roles, just like we saw in Windows Admin Center. I'm going to go ahead and give him user access, because I don't know if I trust him to manage my access on my gateway. Just like that, I've assigned it, and let's see the experience from Matt's desktop.
Thank you. All right. We're going to jump over to my computer here. I'm going to open up a browser and head on to the gateway that Haley just configured for me. One of the first things that you're going to notice is instead of being dropped right into my connections list like I would on a default installation of Windows Admin Center, I'm prompted to authenticate myself. Either I'm going to choose my account or I'm going to sign in with a different one. In this case, we used my Windows Live account, so I'm going to go ahead and log in with that account. And now, because I have 2-factor auth on my account, I have to come to my phone and approve the access so that I make sure that I am secure accessing my gateway. Once that notification goes through, Windows Admin Center is going to load up exactly as I would expect in any other mechanism. And this just really illustrates how easy it is to add two-factor auth to your user accounts accessing your gateway.
Thanks, Matt. So that was how you can secure access to Windows Admin Center and who is able to access that gateway. But how does Windows Admin Center help you secure access to the nodes that you're trying to manage with it? And so for that, we have 3 features: role-based access control, delegation with single sign-on, and local administrator password solution. So let's dive into role-based access control. So we have here 3 predefined groups: administrators, Hyper-V administrators, and readers. And this allows you to restrict the actions that those users can perform. And it's really easy. You just add users to these predefined groups, click apply, and then you have role-based access control. Beyond these security features that I've shown you, Windows Admin Center also logs all the actions that are taken on your managed servers for the purposes of auditing. And so Windows Admin Center will log the who, what, when, where, and how of all of these actions performed on your servers. So you can see them in the event log in the Microsoft Server Management Experience channel. And if I drill in here, I can see the who, so the user on the gateway and which gateway was used, and the what, the PowerShell script that was run, and the tool that that PowerShell script came from. And then the where and the when really comes from where was the event logged, and when did the event get logged. So that's a little bit of security.
Thanks, Haley. Security is very important to us, and as we've heard from our users, it's very important to our customers as well. As you saw, Windows Admin Center leverages a variety of security technologies and options to help you secure access across both layers, plus visibility for auditing. In the future, we hope to light up graphical management of additional platform security features so admins can easily turn on and configure various security options through Windows Admin Center in the same way that we've enabled ease of use for technologies like hyperconverged. Today, you can see us starting to do that with the Windows Defender preview tool in the extensions feed to view and configure real-time protection. Haley?
All right, let's jump into hybrid. You've probably seen this a little bit if you've gone to any of the other Windows Server sessions. But let's see how Windows Admin Center can really support you wherever you are with hybrid. First, talking about the bridge to the cloud. So Windows Admin Center helps you discover Azure services within the context of your management tools, onboard really easily and seamlessly from your on-premises machines, and then connect to Azure for further management of those Azure services using intelligent hyperlinks that are embedded right in Windows Admin Center. And thus far, we have 3 services integrated: Azure Update Management, Site Recovery, and Backup. So I'll quickly talk about each of these and kind of the value that they bring, especially integrated with Windows Admin Center. First, Azure Update Management. So with the Windows Admin Center Updates tool, it's really easy to configure updates for a server one at a time. However, if I have a lot of servers, what I really want is a centralized management, a centralized way to see the status of all my servers, as well as deploy updates across all of those servers. And Azure Update Management is a solution from Azure Monitor that allows you to do just that. And what the integration with Windows Admin Center and Azure Update Management allows you to do is onboard those Admin Center managed servers to Azure Update Management so that I get that easy centralized management experience. Now, this is what the documentation for manually setting it up looks like. But in Windows Admin Center, it's really easily discoverable. You'll see this suggestion here about using Azure Update Management, where I can do centrally managed updates. And then I can go ahead and set up now. So this is that really streamlined onboarding experience, where I just provide the subscription that I want to use, the resource group that I want to deploy my resources in or connect up to, and then I just provide some names and the regions where I want to deploy those resources. Now, I don't need to know anything about Log Analytics workspaces or Azure automation accounts. Windows Admin Center will take care of all of that for me. So once I click Setup, what's going on behind the scenes is Windows Admin Center is installing the necessary Azure agent, provisioning those Azure resources in the cloud, and then connecting the whole solution together. So I get that streamlined experience without having to leave Windows Admin Center. And once the configuration is complete, I will see that this server is now being managed by Azure Update Management. And then I get this contextual hyperlink here. And this is where we really help connect you to the Azure portal. If I click on this, it'll take me directly into the Azure Update Management solution in the Azure portal, where I can see this server along with any other servers that I've onboarded into the Azure Update Management solution for centralized, easy management. So here I can see that I don't have any non-compliant machines, meaning all of my servers are up to date and looking good. Next, let's talk about Azure Site Recovery. So Azure Site Recovery allows me to replicate business-critical workloads that are running on virtual machines into Azure so that I get a great disaster recovery solution in case of some sort of failure on premises. It allows me to easily fail over into Azure. And again, I get that really easy discovery, onboarding, and connecting experience where I get that intelligent hyperlink that brings me into Azure. Finally, Azure Backup will protect me from ransomware, malicious attacks, and accidental deletions of data by letting me back up my system state and files and folders into Azure. And so this has the same easy discovery, onboarding, connection experience that you've seen in the other services, but actually goes a step further with Azure Backup, giving you a full dashboard that you can see all of your backup jobs, you can see the recovery points and the history of all of your backup jobs, as well as even kick off a backup from within Windows Admin Center. So those are the 3 services we have today. If you saw, there was a demo of Azure File Sync in, I think, Aaron's session earlier this week. And so what Azure File Sync allows you to do is to free up space on your on-premises servers by tiering your cold data up into the cloud and keeping only the hot data locally, where you can have that low latency. So that's how Windows Admin Center helps bridge you to the cloud, leveraging these useful Azure resources that bring you a lot of value, especially to your on-premises servers. Now let's look at how Windows Admin Center helps you embrace true hybrid infrastructure. And what I mean by this is when you have resources both running on-premises and in the cloud. One great feature we have here is the Azure Network Adapter, which is basically a one-click deployment of a point-to-site VPN into an Azure VNet, giving you easy connectivity from your on-premises servers into an Azure VNet. And it's really as easy as to set up as 1, 2, and 3. To hear more about the hybrid connectivity and this Azure Network Adapter feature, definitely check out Greg and Jason's session on Friday. Now, if you're managing Azure VMs, you might also want to be able to connect from on-premises. And the Azure Network Adapter makes it really easy to connect your gateway into an Azure VNet to manage those Azure VMs. But you can also install Windows Admin Center in the cloud for a cloud-only management experience. So that's how you can really use Windows Admin Center no matter where your resources might be, on-premises or in the cloud or both. And finally, how can we bring the capabilities that Azure provides, all that richness and goodness there, and bring it into Windows Admin Center to make Windows Admin Center even more powerful? And we've actually already seen an example of this with Azure Active Directory authentication, giving us capabilities like multi-factor authentication and conditional access policies. And we want to take this even further by integrating with Azure Monitor to give our users email notifications about server health, letting you really monitor your server health, leveraging the power of Azure Monitor. So those are kind of 3 ways that Windows Admin Center really supports you wherever you are with hybrid, helping you leverage resources, Azure services, bridging to the cloud, supporting you wherever you are with your hybrid infrastructure, and then pulling in the rich capabilities of Azure to enhance Windows Admin Center.
Thanks, Haley. Hybrid on your terms. Everything you saw in this section is optional, but Windows Admin Center helps curate a set of high-value Azure services which are specifically designed to leverage your existing on-premises Windows Server deployments and help you harness the power of the hybrid cloud. You can easily enable multi-server and multi-VM management via Azure integration, whether your Windows Server instances are on-prem or in Azure. You'll see us continuing to invest in this area in the future, including tighter integration directly in the Azure portal. Windows Admin Center is cloud ready whenever you are, and with whatever hybrid configuration that makes sense to you, your environment, and your needs. Most of our customers have told us that hybrid is not just the journey to the cloud, but it's the desired and preferred end state. That means that there are still a lot of on-premises deployments that will continue to be around and used for a variety of workloads. Windows Admin Center helps you with both of those goals, whether you're on the journey or you're already at the end state of having that hybrid deployment. Haley? Or sorry,
Or Matt.
Matt.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're going to jump over to me. All right, so I'm going to talk to you about our partner ecosystem. You've heard us mention a couple of times that Windows Admin Center is extensible, but what does that really mean? On the surface, it means that Windows Admin Center is a platform where Microsoft and our technology partners can work together to deliver value to our customers where they are, when they need it. But it also means that you, as administrators, have the ability to customize your experience and have only the tools that you need to do your job. This is going to take place in the Extension Manager, and I'm going to run you through what this is going to look like through a couple of different scenarios. First off, this is just a default installation of Windows Admin Center. I've added a couple servers because it was a little bit lonely, but I haven't customized any extension. There's no additional tools. This is what you would get if you installed the MSI straight out of the box. The Extension Manager is found in the Gateway settings in the top right-hand corner under the Extensions setting tab there. The first thing you're going to see is our available extensions. Windows Admin Center, when it ships, has included a default feed of extensions that is managed by Microsoft and curated by Microsoft. It contains extensions that we've built. They're either in updates to existing extensions or extensions that are in preview or new releases. But they also contain extensions from our partners, including Fujitsu and DataOn. This is a good place for me to go to explore. What are the new capabilities that I can add to my gateway? What am I missing out on? What's my hardware? In this case, I'm particularly interested in this Windows Defender preview. So all I have to do is click the install and confirm it, and then Windows Admin Center goes out to the feed, pulls down the package, and configures it in my gateway instance right here. Now, I've been using Windows Admin Center for a little while now, and I'm really comfortable with all of the tools and the features and what I'm doing inside of it. Oops. We went a little forward there. All right, let me see if I can get back to that. One more time. Nope, stop. Cool, here we go. I've been using Windows Admin Center for a little while, and I'm really comfortable with all of the features that are inside it. In my installed extensions, you can see everything that is currently configured for my gateway. Like this, you can see the Windows Defender extension that I just installed. Now, like I said, I've been using Windows Admin Center for a while, and I'm really comfortable with all of the capabilities. And you know what? I don't really need to remote desktop into any of my machines anymore. Everything that I want to do, I can do right from Windows Admin Center. So I have the ability to select my extensions and remove the ones that I don't want in my configuration. This means that you can reduce your tools list to only the features that you want and that you need, giving all of your administrators on the gateway the exact same view of the tools that bring you value. So as we continue down this, I really noticed that I have some processes inside of my company that it would be really nice to consolidate. Let's say, for instance, I have a bunch of configuration scripts that a bunch of administrators are sharing. And, one guy's tweaking it one way, and a gal's tweaking it another way. And we don't have really any consistency over all of these scripts. And I decide I'm going to take this opportunity to pull them into an extension and build out, using our SDK, something that I can plug into Windows Admin Center to make sure that every one of my administrators uses the exact same version that I want them to use. But being as this is an internal process to my company, I don't necessarily want to publish that out to the world. I want this just to be internal to my company. So under the feeds, we have the ability to add our custom feed locations. In this case, I'm going to add a shared directory that is on my network. Now, these feed locations can either be a shared directory or your own NuGet feed. It doesn't really matter. Once you click Add, this is going to be a source for Windows Admin Center to index and pull in new extensions. Once I head over to the available extensions, we've got a couple of new things to check out. First and foremost, I'll see that I have my remote desktop extension there. This means that no matter what I uninstall, I can always go back and reinstall it to get back to my previous state. So I can feel free to configure everything the way I want to. But down at the bottom, I have two new extensions that are from my private feed. So this is how you can really source things internally just to you. But one of the other really cool things about Windows Admin Center and our extensibility model is the fact that every single one of these extensions is an individual module. This means that I can deliver updates to extensions without having to update the full platform. In this case, I had an update to my Windows Defender extension, and now I don't have to reinstall Windows. Reinstall Windows Admin Center, and I don't have to go anywhere else. I can come into my feeds and see the updates to the tools when they're available, and I can choose as a gateway administrator when I need to take those in. So over the last year, we've worked with a lot of partners, and I really appreciate every single one of you because you've helped me refine the SDK into the tool that we have announced now. And Sam is going to run through a screenshot of a bunch of those for us now.
Thanks, Matt. Actually, let me go back a screen because I want to focus on this a little bit. The value of Windows Admin Center as a platform and therefore an ecosystem where partners can really provide additional customer value is really important to us. And we're really excited to be able to show you this list of partners who have also recognized that value that we can together deliver to customers. So this next set of screenshots is really a quick look at that customer value, which is provided by these partners. And they've either delivered Windows Admin Center extensions already in our public feed, or they're providing a sneak peek this week at what's coming down the pipeline. Now, we only have time for a quick fly-through here, but definitely check out the Expo Hall stations for the vendors that you're interested in for more details. So first up, we have Data On with their HCI management extension, now in version 2 that's available in our extension feed. The Data On Must extension really enhances Windows Admin Center's experience with expanded functionality, including historical data reporting, physical disk mapping, configurable system alerts, and a SAN-like call home service. Fujitsu, server view, server hardware health across all critical components, CPUs, memory modules, fan speed, power, temperature, etc. Also, RAID storage details and health status, disk properties and configuration. With Squared Up, you get rich visualizations and monitoring on top of System Center Operations Manager deployments. And they also provide application topologies and dependencies, so you know if something goes wrong, what else that'll affect. Lenovo, Xclarity Integrator. You might have seen a nice video of this done by our friends at Lenovo in Jeff's session yesterday. But this provides server hardware management with multiple integration points in Windows Admin Center. They have a top-level solution extension for multi-server status reporting, plus tool extensions for individual server and cluster connections. In case you missed that demo video, feel free to stop by either the Lenovo booth or the Windows Admin Center booth to take a look. But in addition, Lenovo has also done specific HCI extensions, With their network manager, you get network topology, fabric for both physical and virtual NICs. And then with their storage manager, storage details, physical drive location, and an end-to-end drive replacement wizard. More on this in a little while. With Cisco and their HyperFlex Connect, you get the HyperFlex overview, monitoring, analysis, and management. With HPE, you get their nice ILO BMC IP address right there that's clickable, which would launch out into their ILO experience, as well as a hardware summary with firmware versions. Now this is a proof of concept that they're exploring. With NEC and their ESM Pro Manager, you get server overview, and again, a variety of hardware health status. With Pure Storage, Flash Array, you get an overview of their SAN with performance data and volume management. QCT, Quanta Cloud Technology, server hardware overview and details. This nicely complements their petabyte scale HCI solution, which you might have seen in Cosmos' demo yesterday. Riverbed, with their Steel Fusion Edge for configuration, monitoring, and ongoing management of their edge deployment. So Manfred actually has a session later this afternoon where he's going to take a closer look at some specific partner extensions. Manfred will be doing a live demo of the Fujitsu ServerView Health and RAID extensions, and he'll be showing off Data On's drive map and alerting features, as well as the cool Lenovo HCI Network Manager and Storage Manager, including the end-to-end drive replacement wizard. You can also, again, go to the expo stations of any of the partners shown to see more demos, learn more, and ask questions. But how do you start writing extensions? Back to Matt.
Okay, so you've heard a couple of times this week already that our Windows Admin Center SDK has finally reached GA. This means that you can build your extensions to integrate with Windows Admin Center. This is going to be showing up in the tools or as your full-on solutions as a full-fledged partner within our platform. By building with the SDK, you get to leverage all of our built-in platform technologies or capabilities. This is going to be the Azure integration, two-factor auth. It's going to be our logging and analytics. So you can see all of your events from your extensions flowing through along with the rest of Windows Admin Center. As you get into it, you're going to be developing with the latest web technologies. Windows Admin Center is built on Angular and TypeScript, HTML5, and C#. And when you hit the point where you're ready to release, you can use our extension feed to extend your product outreach to everybody that has Windows Admin Center installed. But, Matt, how do we get started with this? We have a plethora of resources available for you, starting off with our document library up on the web at aka.ms/Windows Admin Center. This covers everything from downloading, installing Windows Admin Center to configuring, to even getting in and how do you start building your extensions. After you get a firm understanding of what's going on there, we have available a PowerPoint toolkit that you can use to start prototyping your extensions. This is really easy, even for non-designers, to pull things together so you can get a view of the extensions that you're building. It's going to highlight the controls and styles that we use within Windows Admin Center so that your extensions look like they belong right inside our platform. And then when you start to develop, we have our full SDK up on GitHub. So you can peruse all of our source code to see the styles that we use, the code styles, the structure. You can pull those in and use them for your extensions. Not only that, we also have a handy CLI that you can pull down that will help get you set up with your very first extension up and running in just a couple of minutes. And now back to Haley.
All right, so we've covered a lot in this session. from the integrated user experience to the flexible deployment options supported by Windows Admin Center to our 5 main areas of investment from core tools, hyperconverged infrastructure, security, hybrid, and the partner ecosystem. So with all that, you might be wondering, what's next for Windows Admin Center? So let's take a look at our journey to where we've come here today. So last year, of course, we announced Project Honolulu Technical Preview, and then we've had these regular releases leading up to our Windows Admin Center GA. And then since then, we've had preview releases that we released to Windows Insiders, where we continually add new features on a very regular cadence. And then we've just shipped our generally available update that is available for everyone. So you can expect a similar cadence moving forward. And one thing to note is that Windows Admin Center doesn't actually ship in the box with Windows Server 2019. And that's for 2 reasons. The first being, as a remote server management tool, you don't actually need it installed on every server. You can install it once and manage all the servers in your environment. And secondly, this allows us to innovate more rapidly and deliver the features that you want to see at a faster cadence. In terms of the features that we're going to be building out, we really have depended on your feedback. So we were really fortunate to our technical preview users who gave us a lot of good feedback, and have been happy to see that feedback ecosystem continue to grow today. And we want to keep continuing hearing from you. So please do give us your feedback when you're using Windows Admin Center at aka.ms/WAC feedback. Speaking of customer feedback, there is one more thing that I'm really excited to share with you. And this is a feature that is not yet in the product, but will be coming to a release soon. And it was a very highly requested customer feature. Any guesses what that might be? Dark theme. So this is a beautiful new dark theme that's really easy on the eyes. And again, one of our top customer requests. So you can look forward to that coming to a release soon. So that concludes our session. Thank you so much for coming and hearing all about it. Please make sure you go download Windows Admin Center at aka.ms/Windows Admin Center. You can stop by our booth, grab some sticker swag for your laptop. Check out our partner extensions, of course, in the expo. Of course, give us your evaluations. And we actually do have some time for questions, so if you want to stay around and stick around for questions, we'll be happy to take those.
Thanks, Haley. And we actually do have some stickers here as well, if you want to stick around after the Q&A. But definitely send in your evaluations as well.
We're going to have a mic right
We're
there.
actually going to take questions from the mic. We have 15 minutes, so we're going to kind of do this officially. To actually kick off the Q&A, I'm going to start with a question that we get all the time, and I'm going to answer that, which is, what's the difference between Windows Admin Center and System Center? Like, does Windows Admin Center replace System Center? Like, when should I use one versus the other? So the way we answer that is, each of these products delivers targeted value independently, but they're better together with complementary capabilities. Windows Admin Center as the reimagined inbox platform and tools, and System Center as the data center management and monitoring. So I'm going to quickly go through this slide. We actually have this slide at our booth if you want to see more details. But first and foremost, Windows Admin Center included with Windows Server, no additional cost, just like all the traditional inbox tools. Whereas System Center provides you a comprehensive suite of solutions for additional value across your environment and platforms. Windows Admin Center, lightweight, anywhere access, alternative to RDP, with deep single server and single cluster drill down for common troubleshooting, configuration, and maintenance tasks. Whereas System Center gives you the ability to manage and monitor heterogeneous systems at scale, including Hyper-V, VMware, and Linux, additional infrastructure provisioning, self-service, workload monitoring, and breadth. Again, there's that scale. For Windows Admin Center, it's optimized for the management of individual 2 to 4 node HCI clusters with an integrated experience. And System Center, you can deploy and manage Hyper-V, Windows Server clusters, again, at data center scale end-to-end from bare metal with Virtual Machine Manager. For us, monitoring is on HCI only, and that's because we depend on the cluster health service for the history. and it's an extensible platform, as you've seen, for admin tool extensions. System Center is extensible and scalable for monitoring, and it's a platform through SCOM with rich alerting notifications, third-party monitoring, and they use SQL Server for history. For Windows Admin Center, we want it to be, and we have gone down the path of making it the easiest bridge to hybrid, right? We want to help users onboard and use a variety of Azure services for things like data protection, replication, updates, and more. If you look at System Center, they have some of these things built in through Data Protection Manager, VMM for replication, Config Manager for updates. They do have some hybrid integration as well. Windows Admin Center lights up platform features, like you've seen with Windows Server 2019, Hyperconverged, as well as Storage Migration Service, Storage Replica, and System Insights. And System Center gives you additional platforms, like automation with Orchestrator, integrations with Service Manager, and other service management tools. So because we got this question so much, we decided to just put it on a slide, give you all the details, and just so there's absolute clarity, this is kind of how it compares. And again, that first bullet, no additional cost, that's also one of our key questions. We still get, skepticism, like how can you deliver this for free? And we say it's because we start with core management and admin tools. They've always been in the box in the past, and we've never charged for those in the past. It's a platform. We're not going to charge for this. It brings out the value of the Windows Server platform. And so with that, I will really open it up for questions, and we'll start over here,
Okay.
and then we'll sort of alternate.
All right, first question is on role-based access. If I want to use security groups, so I can have a SQL admin group and a SharePoint admin group, log in and get access to load all their specific servers, so they're targeted in their profile for administration. And the other question was adding hot plug enablement for CPU and memory from the console.
Okay. So with role-based access control, the way you define that, having some SQL admins and some Exchange admins, you actually don't need granular RBAC for that. You can actually just define, does the user actually have administrative access at all to those target servers? Where RBAC comes into play is if you wanted that granular control over specific operations on each of those targets. Now today, we don't have that granular control through our RBAC. What we define as a set of 3 standard groups like you saw in the demo. Over time, what we hope to do is enable that granular control because we build our RBAC on top of PowerShell just enough administration, and you do have full control over specific access in that case. What we want to do is, again, bring out the power of that platform by layering on ease of use through a GUI in Windows Admin Center, which would then allow you to configure that. And then your second question, in terms of hot swapping CPU and memory, I'm actually not sure about that one. I don't believe that there's anything that would prevent Windows Admin Center from properly displaying that, because all we do is we query PowerShell. As long as the OS recognizes that you've swapped out and swapped in a new component, and that WMI PowerShell is reporting that correctly up through Windows Admin Center, then we get that. Right, because everything we do in the GUI, again, is dependent on the underlying PowerShell.
Right, what I'm saying is if you see that the memory resources are low at 8 gig and you know that you want to add, I want to actually be able to add 4 gig from the admin console to the managed device.
Are you saying from a virtual machine perspective or actually physical memory?
Virtual machine.
Virtual machine, okay. So as you saw, the Hyper-V tool actually has a nice dashboard view which shows you sort of the metrics. Today, there's no automatic triggering of mitigations, but one thing that you'll be interested in is, for example, the System Insights capability in Windows Server 2019 that actually gives you predictive analytics to help you proactively see this is where we believe things may become a problem in the future. For those kind of reactive mitigations that are automatically triggered, that is not something that is in Windows Admin Center today.
Thanks.
So we'll take the next question from over here.
I have Azure Active Directory just enough to run my Office 365 Exchange environment. So I was wondering, I actually already have an ADFS. I just completed moving from ADFS 2.0 to 3.0. So do you support local ADFS multi-factor authentication for Windows Admin Center, or is it just Azure Active Directory?
Yeah. Today, our MFA support is supported exclusively through Azure Active Directory. The reason we do that is because we recognize that there are a lot of things in Azure that we really want to light up and make sure that customers are aware. We do recognize that there are purely on-prem scenarios like that. And so what we do is we ask for customers and users to send us that feedback through user voice. And that's what allows us to capture the interest level across the different feature requests. And through upvoting, we can get a sense of how we should prioritize and sequence feature requests. So the answer is we don't support that today, but that would certainly be a valid feature request for us to consider.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Okay. All right, back to.
Thanks. I've got some just some basic questions. One of them is, we have a VMware environment. Does this work for that as well?
So for VMware, again, the goal of Windows Admin Center is to manage your Windows Server instances wherever they are. So if you're running Windows Server VMs on VMware, you can pretty much manage those the same way that you, for example, RDP into those server instances.
That's fantastic. So is there like any roadmaps for potentially managing Linux devices through this as well?
That is a question we get often as well. And our answer currently is because we have an extensible platform, this is something that we potentially look to the community to help us enable. The community is, very strong in the Linux world, and what we want to do is really allow our platform to reach across and enable scenarios beyond what our core team is mandated or is resourced to be able to do. And so there are situations like this where, based on user and customer demand, maybe a bunch of you guys get together and say, let's write an extension using the SDK, and we define a new connection type to Linux target, and there you go, you have that Linux management experience all part of the same console.
Awesome. Additionally, can I update my servers through this?
Yes. So Windows Update is supported, as Haley mentioned, on a single server basis, right? And the experience is really the same as if you logged in locally to a server and ran either in the old world, you had control panel, Windows Updates, or now you go to settings and see updates that are available. And so we do that on a single server basis, and you can definitely do that remotely through Windows Admin Center. But as Haley demoed, really the power of something like Azure Update Management allows you to scale that out to multiple machines and really be able to monitor the compliance and the patch level across those machines and then orchestrate scheduled updates as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Right over here.
Is that one
Okay.
question over there?
No.
Sorry, are you waiting at
Nope.
that mic?
Okay.
All right, so over
Okay.
here.
I didn't see Dell EMC on the partner list. Do you know if they have plans to be included?
That is a great question. I just had a conversation with the senior product manager from Dell EMC yesterday, and they are excited to work with us to explore what possible integrations they might be able to deliver in the future. We have worked with individual Dell engineers, and they have been prototyping different things. But we weren't able to add their logo into our list because they hadn't yet committed. But I think for them, after seeing all the partners that have now developed against Windows Admin Center and are delivering extensions, they are also now very excited to explore the possibilities.
And there is an estimated date for that release?
That you would probably have to go to the Dell station and ask them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the plans to eventually have this replace all the RSAT tools, the traditional MMCs, or is that still too early to tell?
Yeah. That is one of our longer-term goals. But as you know, there are a lot of tools that have been around for a very long time. And if you look at sort of the usage pattern, it's got this long tail, right? And so what we say is there are some tools with minimal usage that we will never replace. And the example that, for example, Jeff Woolsey likes to use is fax server. We're not going to re-implement a fax server management tool. You will continue to have to use RSAT to manage fax server if you still have a fax server deployment. That said, on the other end of the scale, we do recognize that there are roles with significant usage and deployments today. And even on user voice, we know what that looks like. Our top requests are Active Directory, DHCP, DNS, IIS. Okay. So those are the kind of roles that we're going to target first in terms of either chasing down internal Microsoft partner teams to help us actually implement that, or in some cases, we kind of take a stab at that ourselves. But that's kind of how we think about it. Today, it is not a replacement. It may never be a full replacement, but we do want to keep going down the path of replacing high usage, high value tools.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, over here.
Okay. My question is about adding servers to the admin center. Is there a kind of auto discovery, or do I have to manually add every server to the admin center?
Okay. That's a good question. I've been answering a lot. Do one of you want to take that?
So there's no auto discovery right now. But what you can do, you're able to import lists of servers. So if you could potentially like script out, a discovery and output of a CSV, and then use that as the import for your server lists. So.
But do give us your upvote on user voice.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can the tool manage remote desktop services users and go in and terminate stale sessions that people have from a central location?
Well, so remote desktop services, I think, is interested in building out their own extension for Windows Admin Center or their own tool into Windows Admin Center, but that's not there yet today.
Okay.
Definitely something to look out for in the future.
All right, I think that's all the questions. All right, thank you again so much, and we'll be up here with,
we got
one more
left.
All right.
So with the updates, and we use WSUS to cache the updates, is that built in, or is that we still refer to a WSUS server?
You can take that.
So the updates tool within Windows Admin Center detects if WSUS is in use in the environment, okay, and it will respect that. But you can also choose to check for updates online for Microsoft Update, just like you can do with the Inbox local tool through the Settings app as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, cool. We still got one.
Oh.
Just on the gateway server itself, what kind of rights? Obviously, it's going to have admin rights of some sort to the boxes you're going to add, but also what kind of ports would you have to have open, like TCP ports going through the firewall? If we put that on a trusted network, what kind of access will it have to have, or where can I get that information?
Yeah. All right, so the gateway, as you saw in the diagram, if you want to expose external access, then yeah, 443 or whichever port you select for the HTTPS endpoint as part of the installation at install time, that's the one that you would have to open up for access to the gateway. But internally, on the second hop, that's all standard PowerShell and WMI over WinRM. So it's just the WinRM port that, since Windows Server 2012, is open by default. So there's no additional ports that you need to open.
Yeah, I was talking like a physical firewall, like a Cisco or Checkpoint firewall. If they're on different networks, the gateway machine and then and your other servers, you'll have to have the WinRM port. It's the only thing that would have to be open?
Yes, yes. And really the way to think about this is, because we use PowerShell under the hood, if today you manage those servers from that sort of segmented environment perspective, can you open a remote PowerShell session to the target? If the answer is yes, then you already have what you need to install Windows Admin Center and have it communicate the same way.
Yeah, by default it's no. We can do it from workstations and that set of IPs, but as soon as we put a server out there, it won't have access unless we ask for it. So.
Okay, yeah, so that's what you would need to add, is the WinRM port.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Do you recommend the use of Admin Center on domain controllers with Server Core?
We actually block installation of Windows Admin Center on domain controllers, and that is because the security guidelines are to not do anything else on your domain controller.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Separate host for Admin Center gateway and then jump to the...
Oh, you can certainly manage a domain controller as a target.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. And in that case, again, it's no different from using a remote PowerShell session to access that domain controller.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I think we have time for let's take 2 more questions.
I guess you can manage domain and non-domain machines, right?
Yes. We support both domain and workgroup connections. All right. Last question.
When you log into the admin server and then you do a connection to one of the systems that are managed, what credentials is it using to actually connect to those systems? Is it using the admin server, or is it using the user credentials passed through it?
That's going to be the user credentials pass-through. So it's all under your user context. Basically, Windows Admin Center doesn't do anything without you. We don't have any agents running on the back end. There's no data collection and anything going on. So until you log in, we don't have any credentials. You can change your credential from your Windows credentials. You know, like if you want to use a different server or a different username and password to manage, you're able to, from the connection list, select your server, and then we have a Manage As button where you're able to change your identity. But that's not saved anywhere. We don't persist any credentials over sessions or anything like that.
So if I were to add a set of servers that I have access to, and then someone else logs into Admin Center, and they do not have access to those systems, they would not see them in there?
So when you add connections, that is per user. So if you add a connection, only you see it. That's not persisted across the whole gateway.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Great, thanks a lot, everyone. If you haven't gotten your Honolulu themed sticker yet, come by and pick one up. We've got a stack. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Well,